You are now listening to The Dot.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Greg here, and you are tuned into the July 2023 edition of The Dot, the show where we go over all the best new music of the month, and more importantly, feature call-ins and songs from artists you may have overlooked in such a busy month of new music. July 2023 was a surprisingly active month when it came to new music. Usually we pick up in April, May, and June, fall out a little bit in July and August, and pick back up in September. This year was a little bit different. We had album releases from Dominic Fike, Disclosure, Blur, Gus Dapperton, Paris, Texas, Little Dragon, Grain Chatton, who's a lead singer of Fontaines DC, released a solo album. So a lot of really good projects came out this month, and it was actually a well-balanced month as well. Almost every single week we got some really notable releases and some good songs from artists we may not have heard of in the past. So I'm excited to feature those artists on this episode. We're going to start here with an artist that released their first project. It was a mixtape on streaming services this past month, and that's Walter the Producer, who released his No Substance mixtape on July 15th. And Ones to Watch did a nice piece on Walter the Producer, and the very first paragraph of that write-up on Ones to Watch says, an eclectic mash of alt indie and disco pop, Boston's Walter the Producer introduces himself to the world in No Substance mixtape, making a lasting mark by curating an impressively cohesive sound for someone only just arriving. So great way to introduce this artist, great way for Walter the Producer to introduce himself to the world. And we're going to check out the song Sweet Bonita off that mixtape to kick off the July 2023 episode. Enjoy.
Sweet Bonita with the red face and white smile. Don't cry your eyes out, 'cause it's cold and you might drown. And seamed on a t-shirt is only a few words, but it sums up the features. If only she'd see them all.
With the song Sweet Bonita off his debut project No Substance mixtape. Again, came out in mid-July from the Boston-based artists. And let's travel across the country and go to the Bay Area, where the artist Young Moon released his third LP on June 30th. This episode, we're going to go through new music from June 24th all the way through July 21st. And Young Moon released his third LP called Triggered by Sunset, and luckily he called in to introduce this new track off his album called Hard Earned Day. Let's throw it to Young Moon to introduce this new track.
Hi, this is Trevor Montgomery, and also known as Young Moon, and just wanted to say thank you so much for the kind offer and for having me on The Dot. The song that you're going to listen to is called Hard Earned Day, And it's a song that I wrote about depression and how it feels to be in it and not be seen or feel seen by those around you and just by the world in general. I guess when you're in that space, you don't feel seen. It's a two-part song, so there's two kind of different vibes that come together in the song. And the second part of the song is where I'm kind of repeating over and over about, do you want to survive? And that's kind of just me thinking about what's up with the world and wanting to survive, and I guess the collective things we have to do to try and figure that out if we want to move on, if we want to go on, if we want to survive. So it's kind of a weird juxtaposition, I guess, those two things together, but that's kind of the way my brain works, I guess. I just was thinking about those things at the time and they came together. So anyways, I hope you enjoy listening to it, and thanks again.
Harder day, that's alright. I've got wilder and that makes it right. You don't see how I feel. I've been down in the dirt of it. It's alright either way. Even when you push me away, I'm alright, we're okay, we're just working it out again. No one told you this would be easy, no one tells you the truth of it. If you're hurting and you're lonely, I'm calling out for the pain in you. I'm on your side, I've been down there so many times that I get confused. If I'm happy, let me be happy, let me be happy and sing to you. Something's gotta give. If we wanna go on, do you wanna go on? If we wanna survive, something's gotta give. If we wanna go on.
Like Young Moon told us with that call in for Hard Earned Day, the second half of that song really takes on a life of its own. And I really encourage you guys to listen to that entire song because it is really two songs put into one. So that is Young Moon with Hard Earned Day off his new album, Triggered by Sunsets. And that's going to bring us back to Boston, Massachusetts. Not necessarily because that's where this next artist is from, but we're going to go to a write-up from one of the most prestigious music colleges in the country, located in Boston, Massachusetts. This next artist is CeCe Coakley, and Berklee School of Music have a write-up on CeCe Coakley, and it says, CeCe Coakley is finding her sound in real time, influenced by songwriting greats like Brandi Carlile, Taylor Swift, and Phoebe Bridgers. Coakley has a knack for making ordinary moments feel monumental. And when you have a write-up from Berklee College of Music, I think that's when you know you have pretty much made it, if not well on your way to making it. So really happy to have CeCe Coakley featured on this podcast and featuring her new single Halfway that came out on July 13th this past month, and CeCe Coakley did call in to introduce this new track Halfway. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Cece Coakley. Thank you so much to The Dot for featuring my new single, Halfway. I wrote this song from the perspective of one of my best friends while she was in a relationship with her terrible ex-boyfriend, keyword ex, so yay. And yeah, it's kind of about the feeling where you know you should leave and you're not with the right person, but whatever it be, whether it's societal pressure or just the feeling of being too scared to let go of someone that keeps you stuck in a situation that doesn't make you happy. But thank you guys so much for featuring the song. I hope you like it. Bye.
Hitting every red light, guess it was a good sign. Trying to slow me down on the way back to your house. Pull off the intersection, taking a deep breath in. I turn around and I let you down, 'cause you wouldn't even meet me halfway. And I don't know why I still care, 'cause distance makes the heart grow fonder. But I hate me less when you're not here, when you're not here. Just 'cause it's convenient doesn't mean I mean it. No, I could do better, but we're already together. What would all our friends think if this was the ending? They'd pick a side, and I hope it's mine, 'cause you wouldn't even meet me halfway. And I don't know why I still care.
That was Halfway, the new single from Cece Coakley, aka the Hummus Queen of Tennessee, as her Spotify bio says. Why don't we get out of the States and go over to England and over to an artist who released their third album this past month, and that is Bedroom, who released their album I Don't Know on June 30th. And I'm really excited to have this band on the podcast. They draw from a lot of different influences, and you've heard it over their first three albums. Their debut album came out back in 2020, and this new album is no different. There is a YouTube comment on this song, Be Careful, that we're going to listen to that I love, and I thought was a really good way to sum up this track and give you kind of a peek into what Bedroom is all about. The YouTube comment was from the user @SuperDracula, and it said, "This feels like a cool cross between trip hop and shoegaze/goth." I'm going to throw it over to Ryan from Bedroom to introduce their new song, Be Careful.
Hello, this is Ryan from Bedroom, and you're listening to The Dot. Thanks so much for having me. You're going to be listening to a track from my latest album, I Don't Know, called Be Careful. I wrote this song about 4, maybe 5 years ago, and I was going through a pretty rough time with substance and alcohol abuse, I guess, and yeah, it was kind of just, I'd realised myself that things were getting a bit out of hand, and I kind of just wrote this as a reminder to myself to be careful, I guess. And I guess the messages relayed from me now into the world, so this is just me reminding everyone to be careful, because you might fuck it, and just enjoy each day, as wanky as that sounds. But yeah, if it's gone, you've got nothing, so I hope you enjoy.
Sorted empathy.
Bedroom there with the song Be Careful off their new album that came out this past month called I Don't Know. I really like the format I used last month to go through all the notable album releases. It only took me 5 years of doing the podcast to find a format that I really like. So it's really a chronological format. I'll go through all the albums that stood out to me. This month, we are going to cover music from June 24th all the way up through July 21st. So going through the releases that stood out to me, starting at the very end of June. That's when we got that Grain Chatton album, lead singer of Fontaines DC, that I talked about right at the top of the episode. We also saw some good albums from Coda the Friend, Lil Uzi Vert, Nothing But Thieves, and The Japanese House. Once we got into the month of July, that first Friday was packed. We had some of the best releases of the month within that first Friday. And another thing I want to go back to that I said in the beginning of the episode, this was a well spread out month. So you'll see as we go through each one of these weeks, we had some really nice releases, but this was the week, July 7th, the first Friday of July, that had probably the biggest and best releases of the entire month, because this week we got Dominic Fike's new album, which I thought was fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Dominic Fike. With him and artists like Remy Wolf, the future of music is in good hands. That same week, we got the Gus Dapperton albums from Group Love, Little Dragon, Local Natives, and PJ Harvey. I wasn't too crazy about the PJ Harvey album. I've had trouble getting into her music, but the Little Dragon album was really good. Group Love actually surprised me. I like that album a little bit more than I thought I would. Going to that next Friday, July 14th, that's when we got the Disclosure album. Kind of a surprise album drop. Not a lot of promotion, not really any singles. I thought the album was fine. I'm going to sit with it for a little bit more. It was no Settle, right? It wasn't anything like their debut, but I don't think this was their worst album. We also saw albums that week from Claude Davies, J Hut, Lil TJ, and Mr. Wives. Going into the last Friday, we are going to cover on this episode, the 21st. I'm still kind of letting these albums soak in a little bit, but that's when we got the Blur album. Blur album was very good. Good to see Damon Albarn and Blur back on the scene. We also got albums from Greta Van Fleet, Nas, Odessa released a project with Yellow House, Oscar Lang, Paris, Texas, Yumi, and Forever Friday. So again, I don't really have an opinion on those albums that came out on that last week yet. Some other albums worth mentioning that may have gone overlooked. Aluna released a new album. She previously went by the name Aluna George, and we brought up Disclosure. She was the one on White Noise with Disclosure. She released a pretty good album this past month. Aiden released a good EP, and Willow Wild released a good EP. That's the first time I came across those two artists. I think they're really promising, gained a new fan this past month. Night Beats released a new album that was pretty good, and Night Beats was actually the artist who had the very first song on the very first episode of this podcast back in January of 2019, so it was cool to see their new project. And Moon Panda, one of the artists that was in my top 20 albums of the year last year with their debut album, came out with their sophomore album a year later, and it was just as good. Very, very happy to have come across Moon Panda. All right, guys, let's speed things up a little bit with this next band. This next band is called Two Man Giant Squid, and they released a song for us this past month called Progress, and they released their debut album back in 2022. It looks like their sophomore album is going to be coming up here in August. Love the Spotify bio, which starts by saying, with an approach that leans on the unpredictable, Two Man Giant Squid have become a prominent act in New York's post-punk scene. So I'm going to throw it over to the band to introduce this new song, Progress.
Hey, this is Two Man Giant Squid. Thanks for having us on the dot. Progress is a song that kind of talks about, in this big rat race of life or work or whatever it may be for you, how every little step or every big step anything can kind of be progress in the grand scheme of things. It also serves as kind of a warning to those, I call them like this, snake oil salesman of, do this, buy this, or, live like me, and you're going to make the progress that I made in life, when really I think everybody's journey is a little bit different. And musically, it's, we kind of call it kind of our party song. It's, our first album was kind of just a solo release that we came together as a band and learned how to play, and we're playing shows that way, whereas this one was one of the first songs we've written as a band, with certain kind of venues in mind where we want to get people sweaty and bouncing and singing, and We like that kind of edge-cutting guitar that can kind of get people to lose their minds a little bit. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. This is Progress.
Impressive track there from Two Man Giant Squid. Like I said, New York-based post-punk band. Hopefully they come down to Philly. I'm not sure if they have yet, but maybe they'll come down to Philly and we can catch them at one of the venues down here. I'm sure the live show is absolutely insane. So let's keep moving with the music. A lot of music to get to, not much time left here. I'm going to go over to an artist named Sam O.B., who released a new single for us called Lemon Lime this past month. Sam O.B. has one album that was released back in 2017. Since then, he gave us some singles in 2019, an EP in 2020, an EP in 2022, and then this single on July 21st of 2023. Then we're going to go right into Bouvet to introduce his brand new track, Water Horizon. Enjoy.
Hey, this is Sam O.B. Thank you for having me on the dot. You're about to listen to Lemon Lime, a song I wrote a few years back. I just bought an electric fretless bass, which was an instrument I had been interested in playing for a while, and this was one of the first things I wrote on it. The chorus sort of came to me first. It was like lyrics, melody, and everything all at once, and I don't know, just keep it on a dime, lemon lime, these kind of rhymes were in my head. I really liked it, and it took a while kind of to unlock the rest of it. Lyrically, sort of deals with disagreements and differences, which kind of spirals into like some existential self-worth questions, but kind of, so it's juxtaposed with kind of a cheery, bubbly kind of sound, but lyrically it's a little more dark, I guess. In any case, I eventually got some friends to play on it. My buddy Vishal Nayak played drums. Spencer Murphy added some more kind of fancy fretless bass parts, and my friend Elisa Koya sung background in the chorus. So yeah, thanks for listening and hope you enjoy. Keep it on a dime, 'cause I'm counting my change. I feel crazy when we act this way. Cutting up the lemons and the lines all day. Life stays sour when we act this way, this way, this way.
everyone, this is Bouvet. I just want a special thanks to The Dot for having me on here to talk about my new single, Water Horizon. So, Water Horizon was funny because my brother and I, we've been making a lot of music together, and we had this beat that we made. He had the guitar on it, I programmed the drums, and we loved it, and we were probably sitting on it for about a month or two. And I just had it in the vault, ready to use it when I felt inspired. So one morning I woke up, the line, my avalanche is falling down, somehow I woke up with that in my head and immediately wrote it down. As the day went on, I went to the studio to try and figure out just something. I didn't have that beat in mind, or I didn't have a specific sound in mind. I just knew I had that line about the avalanche. I pulled up the beat that we made 2 months ago just to see what I could come up with, and it fit perfect. And it just started flowing as I started recording it. Especially with the guitar, the bass, everything just felt stronger in that moment than it did just because of the avalanche line to me. So yeah, as the record came along, I had an upcoming EP that I needed to add to. And Water Horizon just fit perfectly. So on July 28th, I don't know when this podcast will be out, but July 28th, my EP Hair of the Dog will be out with Water Horizon featured as a single. So once again, I want to thank The Dot for having me and being able to talk about Water Horizon. Thank you so much.
My avalanche is falling down. It's funny how you could tell a story 100 times in different ways, and somehow I still wanna hear it all again. So my safety net, I cut it down. There's no way out. I hope that you can understand the way I think, the way I am. 'Cause most things don't change round here. That's how I like it. Water horizon, strawberry pie, talking in silence. That's how I like it. Water horizon. My avalanche is falling down. It's funny how you could tell a story 100 times in different ways, and somehow I still wanna hear it all again. 'Cause most things don't change round here. That's how I like it. Water horizon, strawberry pie, talking in silence. That's how I like it. Water horizon.
Great song there from Bouvet. Water Horizon is one that definitely stuck in my mind throughout almost the entire month this past month. So really happy to have him on the podcast. And check out that new EP. It would have just came out a few days before we released this episode. So same deal here. Let's keep it moving. We're going to go to Chance Pena, who released one of my favorite EPs of the month called Lovers to Strangers on July 14th. Chance Pena has such a likable sound to him, really nice voice, and just easy to listen to. Pleasant music he's been putting out. When you go to Apple Music and it has the artists that sound like this artist, the first one's Montel Fish. I'm a sucker for Montel Fish. He's great. Another one is Lord Huron. So let's see if you can hear that in this upcoming song. We're going to check out Chance Pena's song off that new EP called In My Room, and then we're going to go right to Flora Nova to introduce their new song, Pieces of You. Enjoy.
The same counting stars. You play the part of a soulless at home. Were you counting stars? 'Cause you packed your bags, had your heart set to roam. When you left for Georgia, said your friends didn't watch you, but I swear I do. Say what we are. Time's not a problem. Do you think we were moving too fast? Guess we weren't meant to last. I can't move on from that, and I don't have the words. So I keep counting stars inside of my room, inside of my room.
Hey everyone, my name's Daniel, and I'm the singer of the band Flora Nova. First of all, thanks for having us here on The Dot. The song you're about to listen to is called Pieces of You, and it's our second single to date. This song is inspired by all the little memories and artifacts you hold on to after a breakup. The pieces of someone you loved that stay with you and sort of become a part of your evolution as a human being. Sometimes as small and insignificant as like a hair tie or a shampoo bottle, and other times as big as those moments that end up defining the relationship. But I think in some cathartic way, the point is to accept the good with the bad and hopefully come out the other side a bit stronger. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and thanks so much for listening.
Old friend, I don't think I'm ever gonna get away. It's like quicksand. The more I try to run, the more it pulls me in over again. Pieces of you that I'll never lose. Pieces of you that I'll never lose. 'Cause I need you all night long. Yeah, it's weighing me down. I miss you right now. All night long. Yeah, it's weighing me down. I miss you right now. Out of touch, running to each other every now and then. Probably doesn't help me much. I guess that's the price we pay for sharing friends till the end. Pieces of you that I'll never lose.
Flora Nova with their new song Pieces of You. Really catchy track there from Flora Nova. Now let's go to Sacramento, to an artist who released an EP for us this past month at the very end of June. And this is John Wild. Wild spelled with two I's, Wilde. And he released his EP High More Often this past month. And GratefulWeb.com did a write-up on the EP, and they said this in their write-up. High More Often is Wild's first real swing of the bat in a few years. When asked what inspired this body of work, he mused, "It's called High More Often because I've been high more often." This is the song Sunbaked from John Wild's new EP, High More Often.
Hey, you're cool, come hang inside my life. That's right. Making moves on you, I like your eyes. High and take just one, you know I like when you laugh. sure that this is where we ought to be. Where we ought to be. Where I wanna be. Where we ought to be. Where we ought to be. Where we ought to be. Where I wanna be. Where we ought to be.
John Wild with a perfect track to wind down the July 2023 episode of The Dot. And this month we listened to Walter the Producer, Young Moon, CeCe Coakley, Bedroom, Two Man Giant Squid, Sam O.B., Bouvet, Chance Pena, Flora Nova. We just heard John Wild's song Sunbaked. We are going to get closed out today with a 5-piece from Nashville, Tennessee, Blonde Bones, who released their second LP, New Animals, this past month. We're going to check out the song When It's Gone, and we'll bring on Blonde Bones to introduce that track. And on the Spotify bio for Blonde Bones, it says a cannonball of psych, indie rock, and jangle pop. So enjoy this song When It's Gone from Blonde Bones to play us out. Guys, thank you as always for sticking with me through yet another episode of The Dot. Please do what you can. Go out and see these artists when they're touring in your area. Buy their merch, stream their songs, keep them in business so they can keep making great music for us. And always remember,
it only happens once a month, so you must be on The Dot.
Hi, this is Christian from the band Blonde Bones. The song you're about to hear is called When It's Gone. It's the first song on our new record called New Animals. Thank you very much for having us on the show. This is definitely the moodiest and also probably my favorite song on the album because of how moody it is and because as we were working on the record, the way things were sounding, the way the acoustics sounded, the way the electric guitars sounded, the process we used to make this whole album started with this song. And as we would record from there, we would reference it and say, well, you know, we love the way this was sounding. Can we move this? And it definitely helped shape the tone of the record. So to me, it's a super important song, and it's really an honor that y'all are playing it. So if you dig it, please check us out on Spotify, Instagram, all that stuff. Thanks so much.
What does everybody want from me? Can't they see my smile? Somebody called my bluff again. Took me for a ride, but I still don't notice when it's gone. Don't notice when it's gone. Don't know just where I'm going to. Yeah, I'm staring a hole in my milkshake, drawing hearts with my thumb. My head is a goddamn earthquake. I'm still thinking about someone, but I still